Okay, but I have to yell at you guys.
Okay, Linda, listen, Linda. Listen.
Okay, what?
Like everything they do at this house, you can't trust everything at Grandma's house.
Okay.
Okay, then what?
Then you're not listening to me.
Then you're not listening to me.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tiana. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. And for those of you who have not been here yet, this is a YouTube channel dedicated to anti-MLM content and unethical business practices. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a video. And you guys, please comment, like just go and comment, because engagement, you guys, if you guys like me and you like my videos, or if this is your first video that you're ever seeing of me, then maybe wait like a few minutes. But like, if you guys like me and you know that you like me and you'd like to see my YouTube channel succeed, like drop a comment down below, help me boost my engagement, hit me with a like really, you guys, it helps the sister out, because like I'm so close to like monetizing this thing, and why wouldn't you want to help me? And I try my best. If you guys look at my videos, I really do try my best to respond to all the comments. Like I really do try my best. I try to sit down and like read through them all, because I do care what you guys say. Your opinions are valuable to me. So anyways, yes, please leave a comment down below. So now let's actually get into the video. So today's video, I am hoping to help MLM Honesty achieve their goal of putting up an anti-MLM billboard in Utah. So today in this video, I am going to discuss all of the reasons and why I feel like that decision is a very smart decision, and why Utah is the best place to put said billboard. If you guys would like to donate to this billboard, whether it be now or at the end of this video, if I hopefully convince you that Utah is the best place to put this anti-MLM billboard and you want to support this cause, the link will be down below to donate. Even the smallest bit helps you guys. The goal isn't that huge, but you know, at the end of the day, I think that the message is what's really important. So have you guys ever wondered how or why these MLM companies are able to make some of these outlandish health claims? Why these companies aren't getting in more trouble for making some of these outlandish health claims? Why it just ends up with like a warning letter from the FTC, like don't say this stuff. There is a reason that the United States like doesn't do any of this stuff, and I'm going to tell you why the United States doesn't do any of this stuff. So this really all goes back to former Utah Senator Orinn Hatch's previous bill that he had really helped push and bring to the forefront, the Dietary Supplement and Educational Act of 1994. Better known as DSHEA. Now, DSHEA essentially claimed that the goal was to put standards and regulations around the dietary supplements industry. So it did make some valuable points as far as the rising cost of healthcare spending and the need for Americans to take their own health and wellness into their own hands. However, there was a section in this bill that many would attribute the negative repercussions today on the United States and the dietary supplemental health industry. They would relate those repercussions like back to a section of the bill, which essentially put the burden of proof on the United States to prove that a product was unsafe after it had already gone to market, rather than the other way around, where a company would need to prove that a product was safe in order to bring it to market. So Section 13 states, although the federal government should take swift action against products that are unsafe or adulterated, the federal government should not take any actions to impose unreasonable regulatory barriers limiting or slowing the flow of safe products and accurate information to consumers. So first off, you know, you're left to question what are unreasonable regulatory barriers. I think we don't really have many regulatory barriers at all. And then 14, dietary supplements are safe within a broad range of intake, and safety problems with the supplements are relatively rare. So they were basically saying we haven't really had any issues with dietary supplements up until now. It's pretty rare. It's fine. As long as they're going off of like basic science, they can just release these things. So essentially, that if they bring it to market, it's safe, it's fine, nobody has any health repercussions or adverse events, and then it's just fine and it can just stay to market. But if you bring it to market and all of a sudden people start having health issues, then now you've got some problems. However, fundamentally, there is just a problem with this. Like, why would we say, oh, only then after you bring it to market, we're going to monitor it? You don't know if an adverse event is entirely attributed to one thing. And just to be clear, an adverse event, you guys, is a negative thing, or like a negative health thing that emerges from taking a certain drug, or, you know, if it's a supplement or doing a certain activity. Like, an adverse event is, it's a negative, like it's a bad event that happens, that you would want. So, you know, like if we're taking, say, like a caffeinated weight loss pill, and then I have a stroke or a heart attack, the stroke or a heart attack is going to be logged as an adverse event. And as seen here, a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that adverse effects of supplements were responsible for an average of 23,000 emergency department visits per year. And that's a lot for something that's supposed to be good for you. In this 10-year study, researchers looked at surveillance data from 63 hospital emergency departments to estimate the annual number of ED visits associated with adverse effects from dietary supplements. The authors defined dietary supplements as herbal or complementary products and vitamin or amino acid micronutrients. Patients visiting the ED for symptoms related to supplement use were an average of 32 years old, and women made up more than half of all visits. Just over 10% of these visits resulted in admission to the hospital, especially among adults older than 65. However, like, say you've been taking the same dietary supplement for like 4 months, 6 months, whatever, and you have a stroke or a heart attack. How do we know if it's attributed to that thing? How do we know if that's what's caused it? These companies don't do any long-term safety or health studies on any of these products. The long-term safety and health study that's done is basically just pushing it out to you guys, letting you guys take this stuff willy-nilly and hoping nobody dies on the other end. Like, seriously, that's how this stuff works. And the reason that is able to happen is specifically because of this bill that was put into law in 1994. It allows these companies to also make general health claims and to say that, you know, like general health claims, but without any regulatory oversight from the FDA. So basically, the way they get around doing this is by having a really lax definition where they just have to base their vitamins and their minerals and whatever on significant scientific evidence that shows a link between a food substance and a disease or a health condition. And they can only say that it reduces the risk of certain health problems, not that it can treat or cure them. And then also they can make claims about the effect of the substance on maintaining the body's normal structure or function. So they could say product B promotes healthy joints, but they have to include the disclaimer: this statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. And so, yes, that's how we are where we are, is because of this bill and the reason that there is no oversight on these companies. These companies, some of them even use it as a marketing tactic to their advantage when they know that they're the ones that put this law into place. Like, they're some of the biggest. The direct selling companies, you guys, are some of the hugest financial donors to previous Utah Senator Orrin Hatch, and his connection to the direct selling industry and the dietary supplement industry is not a secret, and his affiliation with those groups is something that's been very well known within the political arena for a very long time. And Orrin Hatch is so much so in bed with these direct selling companies that the very lawyers that protect these companies called Orrin Hatch a natural ally. So, you know, they are very, very tight and close-knit, and even some of Orrin Hatch's family members have ties to some of these direct selling and like supplemental health companies as well. So there is money to be made on his end. And so Orinn Hatch would be considered the person that would be like most responsible for these companies who are allowed to make these exaggerated health claims. And it all really goes back to DSHEA. So now let's get into Utah and the fact that some of the top multi-level marketing companies are actually headquartered in Utah. The top 10 companies that are headquartered in Utah are some of the biggest MLM names that you guys would know. We've got New Skin, Young Living, Usana, doTERRA, Morinda, Unique, Nature's Shine, Unicity, Modere, and Jamberry. Some of like literally the hugest names, doTERRA and Young Living. Usana is a huge supplemental health company. Young Living and doTERRA are some of the biggest offenders for making these health claims. And this is how you get these warning letters coming out from the FTC to companies like doTERRA, where they just literally let their like, you know, their people like make these claims and then like, oh, it just like, they don't say anything until after the fact and then they get this warning letter. It's like, oh, if interested to learn more, obtain oils or rollers, let me know. A little extra protection can help. Hashtag doTERRA, hashtag nurses COVID-19, hashtag dialysis, hashtag immunity boosters, hashtag improve respiratory function. The text accompanied an image titled grocery store clerks, truck drivers, medical responders, teachers, small business, mamas, and everyone else, followed by a message composed of text and images of doTERRA brand essential oil bottles. An image of doTERRA brand peppermint and lemon essential oil bottles accompanied by the hashtags, hashtag prevention. We need to talk about the culture of Utah as well. I think it would be very disingenuous to talk about Utah being a forefront for direct selling and MLM companies without talking about the culture and the religious aspect of the LDS community in Utah. The LDS are one of the hugest populations within Utah in general, and it's no secret that a lot of the LDS communities and LDS families have stay-at-home moms, and they have very, very large families. So I think this is a recipe for this type of business as well, because it claims to give these women like side hustles, a way to bring in additional income for their family while staying at home with the kid, being able to work from your phone and doing those things. But at the end of the day, when we look at the data, it's still also disingenuous to say that these people are going to make any money. Realistically, they don't make any money. So I want to look at this information that I actually found online from somebody he's quite infamous in the anti-MLM community, John M. Taylor. He did a study in which he surveyed a number of accountants within Utah in both rural and non-rural areas, and he really broke down if anybody in an MLM had made significant profits over their time within being in an MLM. This is like direct from tax accountants, like doing taxes for people and what they've seen over their time and their history of doing taxes over like 30 some years or something like that. I'm going to pull it up in a second. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. So it's just like, it's a recipe for this type of business to spread like wildfire as well. So we've got these factors in which we've got, you know, somebody who it firmly believes, Orinn Hatch, you guys, he firmly believes in also like these dietary supplements and health things as well. I believe that he takes them. He has this stuff displayed in his office, you guys. Like I said, his family is deeply involved in it, but he's old as well, and he somewhat attributes his health to these supplements also. But at the end of the day, there's really no scientific evidence or scientific proof that you are going to experience any health benefits from taking these supplements, to be quite honest. Like there's no there's like no studies done on these things. And when I say that there's no studies done on these things, I mean that there are no safety or efficacy, short or long-term studies done on these supplements that just are able to be pushed to market. And I also found this article on the National Institute of Health that essentially looked at people over 27,000 people over a 6-year period. And they found that people who were taking dietary supplements had about the same risk of dying as those who got their nutrients through food. And the mortality benefits associated with adequate intake of vitamin A, vitamin K, magnesium, zinc, and copper were limited to food consumption. And the study also uncovered evidence suggesting that certain supplements might even be harmful to health when taken in excess. For instance, people who took more than 1,000 milligrams of supplemental calcium per day were more likely to die of cancer than those who didn't. You know, this is going to help this, and this is going to help this, and this is going to help this. There's no real data that it really helped anything or is going to do anything. Like, it's like, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? There's no regulations to this stuff. They can literally put anything in there. And the only time in which anybody gets in trouble is after you've already fucking died. Like,
no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
But we chose this for ourselves. We vote these people into office. We give these people positions. These people, like Orinn, you guys, he is not just responsible for like that one thing. He has had his hands in the American healthcare system for like a very, very, very long time. And he has made some positive things come to fruition in his time in office, but also it's just because somebody does something good doesn't mean that they can't also do something that is negative or that is self-serving or for their own personal benefit as well. And I firmly believe that DSHEA was something that was played to his benefit, and he has continued to profit and benefit off of it ever since its conception. So yes, I want to break down this data from John M. Taylor in which he discusses these CPAs, these accountants, their results and their findings of MLM profits over the history of their time being accountants. So you guys, this article is called "Who Profits from Multi-Level Marketing? Preparers of Utah Tax Returns Have the Answer." So I am going to just breeze through some of the highlights for you guys. So essentially it asks, if MLMs are legitimate or are they thinly disguised pyramid schemes that enrich a few at the top of a pyramid at the expense of a multitude of unwitting downline victims. If the latter, then consumers, the press, consumer protection agencies, and investors have been duped into accepting it as legal and ethical when in fact it is not. Who, if anyone, is making money in USANA, Nu Skin, Amway Quickstar, and a myriad of other MLM programs? Until recently, there were few solid numbers to back up claims, pro or con. Previous attempts to get MLM companies to release valid data have been met with avoidance, and data they have provided is often misleading. But there is one group of experts that knows who is actually reporting profits: CPAs and other preparers of tax returns. So it was a randomized survey of households in Utah County, which has the highest concentration of MLM companies in the country. And the findings led to the following conclusion. 1, direct sales to consumers by MLM distributors are extremely rare, even in Utah County. Most recruiting for Utah MLMs is done outside of Utah, presumably because de facto market saturation in Utah has stiffened resistance into buying into the MLMs. And commissions paid by the company to distributors are not enough to cover their expenses, so almost all lose money, with the rare exception of those at the top of the hierarchy of distributors. And in counties where no MLMs are based and where few upscale residencies are located, no participants in MLM programs reported significant profits over any significant period of time to preparers of tax returns. Prospects are led to believe that they can earn a substantial full or part-time income and gain time freedom by investing into the program in the form of ongoing product purchases. 6, the combination of nutritional supplements with MLM as the vehicle for marketing them creates a double whammy of opportunities to defraud customers. Customers, at least in Utah, are not well protected by law enforcement against recruiting MLMs and are further left vulnerable to the exploitation in the sale of nutritional supplements by liberalization of legislation affecting such products. And 7, the MLM corporations, which are publicly held, are misrepresenting their core business when they claim to be selling directly to consumers, when in fact they are selling primarily to distributors and on false pretenses of being a profitable business opportunity. You guys, like, I don't know how people can be so avoidant to the data that just shows like people just are not making money. Like, I don't know how, who, when, why, any which way you could explain it to somebody, the chance that they are going to earn this time and financial freedom and be able to retire their husband and all of these things. You guys, it's just so far and few in between, and there are just so many better business opportunities and ventures out there in which you are not gonna lose money. You will make money for your time. Like, you are losing money for your time, and you are not gaining time and financial freedom. You are literally sinking money and time into something that is going to have no returns at the end. It's just insane to me. But yeah, anyways, so he goes into, you know, like when an MLM is a pyramid scheme, but he also talks about 5 red flags to really look for when we're talking about these MLMs and when they're like top heavy on recruiting. So he states that recruiting MLMs incorporate these 5 red flags in their compensation plans, okay? So recruiting of participants is unlimited in an endless chain of empowered and motivated recruiters recruiting recruiters. 2, advancement in a hierarchy of multiple levels of distributors is achieved by recruitment rather than by appointment. 3, ongoing purchases by distributors are encouraged in order for them to be eligible for commissions and to advance in the business. 4, the company pays commissions and or bonuses to more than 5 levels of distributors. 5, for each sale, company payout for the total of all upline participants equals or exceeds that for the person actually selling the product, creating an inadequate incentive to sell products directly and an excessive incentive to recruit. Where data has become available for MLM companies with all of these 5 red flags in their compensation plans, which is nearly all MLMs, approximately 99.9% of participants lose money after subtracting purchases from the company. Consumers would be wise to avoid participating. Regardless of how great the products are, how many respectable people manage it or endorse it, or whether or not law enforcement has taken any action against them, the odds of profiting when gambling in Las Vegas are far better. You guys, like, seriously, the odds of gambling in Las Vegas are better than joining an MLM. I'm going to leave this article linked down below too, you guys. It's good information. It's really good information. It talks about why MLMs don't actually have any customers when the distributors are the customers. Like, it really breaks down that whole ideology for us as to like why MLM like distributors like aren't customers. The customers are the distributors. Like, it like talks about like this little feedback loop, but really like the data that I want to assess is the CPA and accountant stuff. So this is the table for the MLM profits reported on tax returns in 4 Utah counties. They kind of broke it down between like counties that had no headquarters, like didn't have like Usana headquartered there, doTERRA headquartered, Young Living headquartered there. It went to those cities, the rural cities with no headquarters, primarily lower income individuals. Not to say lower income individuals, it said that they didn't have like upscale individuals. So like middle class, I'm assuming, and lower class individuals. And then it looked at the less rural areas and the more upscale and wealthy groups within Utah as well. So basically what we find is that, and you guys, I don't know how to pronounce any of these counties or any of these things. I'm not from Utah. Like, this is about me. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to refer to it as like Western, Eastern, Southeast. Like, you can read. So in Western Utah, there were 16 tax preparers that were interviewed with an aggregate total number of tax returns in 2002 of 7,500, approximately 450 clients, and 0 goose egg showed profits. None. In Eastern Utah, 13 tax preparers, 5,100 total tax returns, 306 clients in MLMs, 0 goose egg reported any earnings. In Southeast Utah, out of 4 tax preparers, 1,800 total aggregate tax returns in 2002, 108 MLM clients, 0 goose egg showed profitable margin from their MLM. So when you look at the total of the 3 counties without any MLM headquarters, out of the 33 tax pre-preparers and 14,400 aggregate total tax returns in 2002, and 864 of those people being MLMs, none of them showed profit, you guys. None of them. None of them. Like, none of them.
That's no good.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then when we look at Utah County, and we start to break down some of the wealthier areas of Utah, counties with the highest concentration of MLMs in the country as well. So Utah County's top CPAs, with whom the most tops in the county in Utah file their taxes, there are 33 tax preparers, 15,200 aggregate total tax returns, 912 clients of them were in an MLM, and 38 of them showed a profit. That is 0.0417, or 4% of them showed a profit. Now, this is a higher statistic, but you guys, that we have to take into account that the most MLMs in the country per capita are placed in this community. So the chance that the most tops are going to exist in this county are very likely. They're the people that got in on the ground floor, some of the people that maybe, you know, like knew the people when they first started and they enrolled people. So that's 38 people. Okay, but like, again, let's take into account that there's the highest concentration of MLM companies in these counties. And then, so reported by non-CPA tax preparers, there were 33 of them, and out of 19,300 tax returns in 2002, 1,158 of them had been in MLM, and only 5 of them had shown profit, which is much less than that, 0.004% or 0.04%. And so total Utah County, 66 tax return preparers, 34,500 total returns in 2002, and approximately 2,070 MLM clients, 43% or 43 of them total showed a profit in MLMs, which was 2%.
That doesn't make sense.
2%. You guys, like, what? You know what I mean? Like, this data's not good. This data's not good. So, like, I don't know why people see this as a viable and good business opportunity. It's just not a good business opportunity, you guys. It's just not. It's just not a good business opportunity. And anybody that will convince you that it is, you guys, they're mistaken. I just believe that they are mistaken, and I'm here to tell you that the reason that I believe that they are mistaken is because of the information that I've laid out for you today in this video. Like, the statistics aren't good. We know that, like, there's no regulations around these things. People really make all these exaggerated health claims. We know why they're able to make these exaggerated health claims now. It's just, you guys, it's a hot mess in my personal opinion. But, you know, like, that's the way things are, sure. But does it have to be the way things are? No. And can we make changes to our law and government that would put restrictions on some of these things? Like, yes, but like, does it take people who are passionate and who care about these things to want to put this into motion? Yes. And so I think that if you guys like care about educating people and helping people, like, let's start with helping MLM Honesty get this billboard up in Utah. That is their goal. So like, the link is down below to donate. And you know, this says, like, John M. Taylor even says, you know, what can be done about MLMs? Consumer protection and other law enforcement personnel can get informed so that when MLM companies attempt to dupe them with claims of being legitimate direct sellers, they can use the 5 red flags discussed above to refute their claims. Ex-distributors willing to complain are the most potent witnesses against pyramid schemes. If you suspect misrepresentation and pyramid scheme abuse, be vocal and assertive in registering your complaints. contact your state consumer protection agency and the FTC for action on a federal level. You may get a little attention acting alone, but if enough consumers complain, the agencies may at least try to contain the abuse. Unfortunately, in law enforcement, it is often the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. You can also write letters to your local newspapers. Negative publicity is often the strongest weapon against MLMs because it makes recruiting more difficult. If you warn and save one person from being defrauded by a recruiting MLM, make copies of this report and suggest that the person use it to warn 5 others and that they use it to warn 5 others who in turn each warn 5 others, etc., etc. Hilarious. The guy's got jokes too. But you guys, we can do more than just 5 people to 5 people to 5 people to 5 people. Not only can you share this with somebody, that would be awesome if you guys would like to share this with somebody, but we can get a billboard up that can notify people that 99.9% of people lose money, and hopefully we can direct them to a resource in which they will be inclined to open their mind and learn more, and hopefully not join one of these companies at the end of the day. So yes, if you guys like this video today, please like, subscribe, hit the bell to, no, that's not how this thing goes. I literally, I forgot, I just keep telling you guys so I can subscribe, because, I just have a goal of, getting 200 more subs, but, I don't just want any 200 subs, I want, 200 good subs that, want to hang around and, grow, but, that's not what I was gonna say. If you no, I don't know. If you like this video, oh, was that what I was gonna say? If you like this video, please comment down below. Do you feel like you learned something new today? Did you know about Orinn Hatch and his ties to the direct selling company? Did you know why and how these companies are able to make these outlandish health claims? And did you learn something new from John M. Taylor's study and discussing with some tax preparers the MLM profits that people have made over their time? So yes, please, you guys, I don't know what I was gonna say. I was I'm having so many brain farts today. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my video. As always, you guys are so appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.